Hello everybody, I am Romit Kaware from the Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Delhi, and I'll be presenting on the research topic sediment bearing pressure analysis using acoustic classification. So, uh, yeah. So let us first understand what is the sediment bearing pressure. So sediment bearing pressure is the ability of the sediment layer or the soil to carry the load without any excessive settlement or deformation. So we studied various water bodies in different regions have different sediment topography, different layers of sediment. So the cumulative or the effective sediment bearing pressure can be calculated by summing the uh, sediment bearing pressure of all these layers. Now, why this sediment bearing pressure is essential is because it is used in the foundation design of various structures like bridges, tunnels, or the dams, we say, for the construction of offshore facilities like oil rigs or refineries, and then for defense related structures, artificial islands, and for the seismic stability of sediment near the coast as well. All these have a geopolitical and strategic importance when we talk about the Indian Ocean region. Now, we see that conventionally these sediment bearing pressure is calculated using the in situ test by having physical samples extracted, and then extensive laboratory tests are conducted like the vein shear test, triaxial test, and all to calculate the strength of the sample, the porosity, pore water pressure, and all. But these are time consuming, capital extensive, and are restricted by the coverage. So, remote sensing techniques, which are called the acoustic seabed classification system, have been developed and have been accepted, which basically use various sensors, acoustic sensors, sonars, and all, and have been accepted widely because of its cost effectiveness and high coverage. So now coming to the acoustic seabed classification system, they are basically of two types. They may either consider the backscatter data, backscatter signal characteristics of the sound signal, which are basically the empirical methods, or may have some mathematical or physical model, and then they may match the modeled and the raw data to find the most accurate model, which are the model-based methods. Now these methods are also supported by the various acoustic sensors like the MBES, SBS, the sub-bottom profiler, the side scan sonar, and all. Then a particular physical model based on the needs of the project is and the environmental condition is chosen. Particular data processing techniques are used, and then the results are presented. Now, the sediment bearing pressure analysis mostly consists of these four parts. That is the to see, to understand, to show, and the to link parts. We shall go over them separately. Huh? So the 2C part consists of the data collection using the various acoustic systems. Now we see that there are variety of sensors used, the MBS are there, SBS are, but the uh, parametric sub-bottom profile is of the interest in this case, because what happens, the non-linear parametric sub-bottom profilers emits the frequencies in emits different kinds of frequency. It may be a low frequency and a high frequency. This leads to a good high resolution over the seabed surface, and is good for shallow water settings. And as the sediment bearing pressure requires the determination of the various sediment layers to a good precision, it is of very much use. Now there are various sediment sub-bottom profilers in use today. Like there are the Fisher's SBP is there, enormous parametric SBP in there, and all comes in different configurations. They are provided with GPS to track the location, Wi-Fi, LAN, PCs, and various softwares for the data analysis part. Then based on the environmental conditions or the capital resources present, they may be either hull mounted, pole mounted, they may be towed, or AUV mounted as well, based on the needs of the project. Coming to the to understand part, it basically has the acoustic data processing, which incorporates the model selection, then the assumptions, what all parameters and equations need to be like solved during the model, and then finally the signal processing aspects, what kind of techniques needs to be used. So there are a lot of models present today, but the Bayard soil model has been used widely to calculate or to determine the geotechnical properties of the sediments. Now we must know that while predicting the properties using the Bayard soil model, 13 parameters needs to be calculated, which are shown in the like table here, which include the density of the sediment, of the fluid, or the bulk modulus, viscosity, porosity, permeability. All these are calculated using the various empirical relations and expressions given by various authors through extensive research, like The permeability and pore size parameter are calculated using the Kozeny-Kármán equation, which is given here. Similarly, porosity is calculated using the equation given by Hamilton. Hamilton and Bachmann and Berryman also provided various regression equations for the calculation of all these parameters. So these are calculated. Then we see that the mathematical model base, what does it involve? It has various equations. The solution of the model involves solving this complex equation so that a numerically solvable technique solution could be deduced. And in order to simplify them, assumptions need to be made. Now, these may be made based on the acoustic system used, or we said the region chosen, and the parameters that need to be considered. Coming to the Indian Ocean region, we see that the Indian Ocean region has a warm temperature, which makes it vulnerable to various climatic fluctuations like tsunamis, cyclones. The monsoon season is also there. Also, it has a high SOFR depth, so it makes it basically acoustically shallow, and hence it sabotages the optimal performance of any of the acoustic sensor. Again, it has a rich biodiversity, and hence it aggravates the attenuation of the sound signal, and hence proper corrections need to be made in order to have a proper results. Now, Hamilton and all provided us with various equations to find correlation between the various parameters that are necessary for this determination. Now, coming to the signal processing aspects, there are various pre-processing parts that include the correction and adjustments for the various variable for the speed of the sound that needs to be made in order to let go of any of the weak results. Then coming to the post-processing parts, it includes various noise reducing, noise filtering techniques and all. A fast Fourier transform is also applied to the data in order to produce a time representable data and enable the time frequency analysis. Now what happens, the parametric sub-bottom profiler gives us a high resolution of the data include in its both frequency ranges, the high frequency and the low frequency, and so the time frequency analysis is the most suitable in this case. So once the Fourier transform is applied to the data, we have some challenges. First is that the time frequency analysis is bounded by the indeterminacy principle. That is, we cannot simultaneously enhance the resolution of the frequency and time at the same time. So that's why, in order to counter these challenges, a wavelet transform is used. So basically there are a lot of wavelet transform present there, but based on several factors and several considerations, a Gabor wavelet is used in this case. Now what does the Gabor wavelet does? It is basically an exponent multiplied with the Gaussian window. So what it does is minimizes the standard deviation between the time and the frequency domains. So it leads to an good resolution of both the time and the frequency domain at the same time. Now, once all the data has been processed, we are required to showcase the data. Now, it is mainly done by showing the variation of the various parameters like the reflection coefficient, the density, porosity with depth or pressure, and then a comparison can be made with the already established literature and the data. A perfect, the closest match is found, and the most accurate model has been predicted. A customized graphical user interface needs to be developed so that it may encapsulate all these assumptions, all these appropriate parameters and equations, and provide real-time results so as to suit the needs of the variety of users. The users may vary from government agencies to the military to various corporates and various NGOs as well. So all the needs to be kept in mind. Now, one of the most important part is to link the acoustic classification model with the sediment bearing pressure. Now, uh, the major part in the sediment bearing pressure is the undent shear strength, the pore water pressure, and the overburden pressure. Terzaki proposed a theory in which the sediment bearing pressure could be calculated using the sediment bearing pressure coefficients. Now, these are related to the internal friction angle, the density of the soil, the cohesion of the soil. So the type of soil and its cohesion and its parameters could be calculated from the acoustic systems, and hence sediment bearing pressure can be calculated. Well, Tesgen et al. Provided a seismic method in which the various wave velocities are calculated, and then using various expressions as provided in the paper, like elasticity, the modulus of elasticity, Young's modulus, shear modulus, the porosity, the sediment bearing pressure, Poisson's ratio can be calculated. So we can see here the various equations that are used to calculate the bearing pressure in the last. Various other authors have also provided some techniques like the Hardin and Black, Okhub and Tersaki also provided with various techniques for the seismic wave velocity calculation. Now, since there is a room for improvement in everything, we will talk about some of the directions that can be worked upon. So, first of all, is the development of a self-training model that can reduce the dependence on the laboratory data in order for the model validation. Again, a development of a customized graphical user interface which considers the requirements and the uses of a variety of users, and then thinking of various long-term policy interventions in order to spread the model to a large audience, and then that may be able to use the results in a sustainable manner. So yeah, that's it from my side. I like to thank Arnav sir for like constantly guiding me through the details of the project, and I'd also like to thank Ananya ma'am and Sridhar sir for like guiding me throughout the course of the internship as well. So yeah, thank you everybody.